We welcome everybody back for our final segment here on Open Mic. High school football is in full swing. We are already on to week 5 and some great matchups, obviously, through the first half of the high school football season. And you start getting into conference play, league play, and that's really when you lock it in. You strap it in tight and you get ready because you don't know what could happen on any given Friday night. And in the Macomb area White Showdown coming up this week, Grosse Pointe South and Roseville, it should be an incredible matchup. Drive to the game obviously sets the table for you every week. I say obviously as though you should know this, but hopefully through the first 4 weeks, you've been able to catch the program on Friday nights here on WJR. And Giovanni Moceri is a graduate of Oakland University, and he really steers the conversation for us and lets us everything we need to know. What does it mean? What's on the line? Who to look for in the Friday night matchups? So without further ado, here is Giovanni Moceri, who has his finger on the pulse on all things high school football.
My name is Giovanni Moceri, your host of Drive to the Game, and Week 5 is upon us. We're pretty much halfway through the high school football season already, and we've seen some fantastic matchups in these 5 weeks, but we keep on moving to Week 5, bringing us to Roseville High School, where they'll take on their MAC White foe, top of the conference, Grosse Pointe South. There's a ton of history between these two teams, especially recent history. We'll get into that here on the preview. Before we get started, don't forget, Drive to the Game, along with us on SportsCaster.com and WJR, is the way to listen to it. The pregame show starts at 6:50 exclusively on our YouTube channel and on SportsCaster.com. Before we kick things off, to our wonderful Chris Renwick and our student broadcasters on the WJR feed, as well as still on YouTube and SportsCaster.com. So be sure to mark your calendars. 6:50 for the pregame show, 7 o'clock kickoff from Roseville High School. So getting into, I want to bring it to more of a general point to the MAC White. A little bit of history on the Macomb Area Conference White Division. As of lately, it's been a battle between Grosse Pointe South and Roseville for the top of that conference for the most recent years, because Roseville has spent some time in the lower ranks of the MAC, previously in the MAC Gold, and then previously even to that, the MAC Blue. They've been in it for now about 3 years and has been battling with the Blue Devils of Grosse Pointe South for top standing in that conference. But it's been really difficult as Grosse Pointe South has had an iron grip on the standings of the MAC White for quite some time, to the tune of winning 38 straight MAC White Division contests in a streak dating back to 2015. They have not lost in the MAC White, at least in the regular season, in almost 10 years. The Blue Devils often go undefeated, and it's not until the playoffs that they'll face a loss from within their conference, and we'll get into that as part of their history. But I want to pile on some of that for just a little bit. So that 38 straight games won for Grosse Pointe South in that division. It takes out 2020 and 2021 because that is when they advanced to the MAC Red division before coming back down a few years ago. So there's a bit of a 2-year gap within that, but still, it is no joke. It is nothing to write off. Grosse Pointe South owns the MAC White. And as far as the total matchup goes, Grosse Pointe South is 9-3 all-time against Roseville and 3-1 in their past 4 matchups. This includes the playoffs, and that's where we'll get into the big backstory for this game, is in the playoffs. Let me take it back about 2 years ago in 2023. It was Roseville that knocked out Grosse Pointe South in round 2 of the Division II playoffs. These teams play in the Division II of Michigan high school football. Grosse Pointe South, after defeating Roseville the next season in the regular season, 2024, they got a chance at playoff revenge in the opening round of that year's playoffs. So after coming off of a 2023 playoff loss to Roseville, they meet up again for a rematch with all the chips in the middle of the table, playoff time. And that came down to a thrilling finish in 2024 last year. Roseville, towards the end of the game, we're into the fourth quarter here, Roseville drove 91 yards en route to a touchdown and 2-point conversion that cut Grosse Pointe South's lead down to 7. The score was 27-20 in the fourth quarter. The Panthers' defense would stand strong and force a 3-and-out to give them a short field and a chance to take the lead with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They would then find the end zone to make it a 1-point game. The score now 27-26. A 2-point conversion would give them the lead late in the game and a chance, with the defense holding, to defeat Grosse Pointe South for 2 years in a row in the playoffs after not beating them in those respective regular seasons. However, on that 2-point conversion, Grosse Pointe South would hold strong, stopping it and holding on to their 1-point lead. The Panthers' defense then responded to that with another 3-and-out, giving them the ball with 3 minutes and 13 seconds left. But unfortunately, the drive down the field did not find a field goal or the end zone, and Grosse Pointe South would advance in the playoffs and leave the Panthers of Roseville behind. So that puts this matchup, that's the last time they saw each other, a nail-biter finish with all the chips in the middle of the table in a do-or-die game. However, as now we look into this year, a 38 conference win streak is at risk. This Roseville team has a lot of talent on it to go up against the consistent retooling, not rebuilding, but retooling that Grosse Pointe South does every year. And we'll look now closer to the Roseville Panthers. Last year, they were 7-3 and 3-1 in conference play. According to the Detroit News, Roseville has been an ascending program as of late, making the playoffs 4 straight years. That's particularly in the MAC White. You zoom out to their other conference ventures, they have made the playoffs 7 out of the last 8 years. And with Roseville finishing 7-3, that now makes 4 straight years of winning at least 7 games in the regular season. A new member of the MAC White joining in 2022, as we've detailed before, and they got a lot of college talent to keep an eye on. First and foremost, they have great trenches. They got a defensive lineman, senior Miles Sharp, who is committed to play at Grand Valley. 6 foot, 280, can stop the run and rush the passer. He's going to be big to watch. And as well as junior offensive tackle Sam McGrath, who has yet to make a commitment but has many offers at the Division I level from MAC schools, including Toledo and Miami, Ohio. He moves bodies on the offensive line. And in addition to that, wide receiver Milton Stanford will be heading to Ferris State next year, as well as wide receiver / defensive back Bryant Holland Snowden, who will be heading to Youngstown State to play for the Penguins next year. Those are all names that you're going to be hearing often during the game and definitely need to keep an eye on. However, when we go down now to the Grosse Pointe South side of things, their last year was a 10-1 record and 4-0 in the MAC White. And that 10 wins breaks a school record for Grosse Pointe South for most wins in a season. And as the Detroit News says in their Macomb Area Conference preview, South usually reloads, not rebuilds. That's what I was referring to before. But maintaining its typical success will require newcomers to step up into more prominent roles, since they have 4 starters back on offense and 3 on defense. Not a ton returning from last year. They had a lot of talent go off into greater ventures. You know, they get talent sometimes even to the tune of Will Johnson of Michigan, or of University of Michigan, now drafted to the Arizona Cardinals. His alma mater is Grosse Pointe South. Fun fact. They are predicted to win the MAC White once again because of just the tradition that they have set of excellence and of disciplined fundamental football that they play in each and every year. Some of the players to watch for the Blue Devil side will be their quarterback, Sam Rowlow. A multi-sport athlete, also plays basketball for the Blue Devils. Last week, he ran for 118 yards, threw for 115, and had 3 total touchdowns. Very multi-talented. Last year, he was wide receiver and running back, before now this year transferring himself into the starting quarterback role. He can do it all, and he's got great hands, he's got a great arm, He is very dangerous and worthy of keeping attention to for the Blue Devils. In addition to that, on the defensive line, AJ Zulinski. My first time trying to pronounce that. He's going to be a huge piece this year. He has the honors at Grosse Pointe South of carrying the American flag out of the tunnel, which is only reserved for those of the highest order of leadership for Grosse Pointe South. So he's going to make a big impact, not only in the leadership side of things for this season, but also on the field as well. So it sets us up for a fantastic matchup in conference in week 5 that we got for you at Drive to the Game. From Roseville High School, your pregame show will start at 6:50. Myself and some of our SportsCaster.com superstars will be on the panel pre-halftime and for postgame, along with our student broadcasters. Will be up by Chris Renwick during the game. And then afterwards, we'll have interviews with those of the winning team. We got players, and we'll have those students come down from the press box to chat with us and their thoughts on the game. It's all that you need to get some coverage of the best in Michigan high school football. Be sure to tune in. My name is Giovanni Moceri, and I will see you there.
Well, there you go. You'll be ready for Friday night. Look forward to having you tune back in for that matchup. That is our show for this week. I want to thank Giovanni Moceri for setting the table for what should be another good week of high school football. Also want to thank Gavin Velesovic and Jordan Morgan for his time. We wish him continued success as he pursues his professional basketball career overseas. Want to thank Michael Odino, live game director, who's gearing up for the NBA season, and Aiden Novak, now a freshman there at Delta College. So appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, we thank you for listening. We hope you gleaned a little something as you go about your work week. And we look forward to seeing you back here every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 o'clock here on Open Mic. I'm Johnny Kane saying thanks for listening. And until next time, Godspeed.